I've met some really cool people, and Taylor's a phenomenal woman.
Yeah.
She knew more about like the season standings in the NFL than I did.
Welcome to the first episode of Deep Route Conversations with Ayir Asante, and today I am super excited to start this podcast, this journey with someone who I consider a close friend, a brother, family. Former teammate, Holy Cross alum, current Kansas City offensive lineman, CJ Hanson.
It's a blessing to be here. Like you said, this is family. Came from the same city or came from the same state.
Feel like the same city.
Feel like the same. Played against each other, played with each other, and now we're chasing our dreams together. And it's a blessing to be here, and can't wait to get it started.
Yeah, perfect. He came with a gift today.
Had to. Yeah. It was a blessing to be there, and I wouldn't have been there without my teammates from Holy Cross, and that grind we did there. So everyone I've seen from Holy Cross, I've been able to give them a little bit of part of me.
No, and I appreciate it. I mean, damn, the Super Bowl, bro. The Super Bowl in year one, rookie year. I mean, obviously we're gonna get into that, but I mean, I don't even know how to put words to it. I mean, it's amazing, and I appreciate you bringing this. And I mean, let's just get into it. We're gonna start with kind of your history, your kind of background. When did you start playing football?
Yeah, I started playing flag football probably in second grade.
Yeah,
and I think I knew, and I think my mother knew that it was a thing for me. I was in the 99 percentile as a kid. Like, I was gonna grow a lot. That was what the doctor said, and I think my mom always. I want to say that she's always wanted like a little superstar.
Yeah,
and I think she pressed for it. I, as a kid, unknowingly pressed for it.
Yeah,
and throughout my years, I had some great teams. I was always on winning teams, so I guess that helped. From my first year in pads, went 9-0, 11-0. Shout out the Wyckoff Raiders.
there you go.
And
was that Pop Warner?
Yeah, technically, but
was that AYF or something?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy where I am now, and thinking back then, like, I have the same coaches coached that Pee Wee team.
Yeah. And
this year they made it to the Super Bowl. And I was lucky enough to give them a video, and they sent the video back after they got the rings.
Yeah.
And it's just cool to see where I come from and how we got here.
No, I mean, it's definitely, I think it's super interesting about how lessons and the experience that you get from such that young age still carries all the way to the where you are now. Because I mean, I feel like there's many similarities that I found from my experience. Like a lot of my, I would say discipline and kind of football ideology, like how I think about the game, how I go about the game, came from Pop Warner football. You know what I mean? From. So it's interesting to hear. You also feel like that. I feel like many people feel like that. And would you say you got your love for the game that early?
I would have to say it,
yeah,
because I had points in high school where I wanted to quit, and I think it all goes back to faith, and I think with people around you having faith in you and everything like that, I think it sparked something in me definitely. And I think what did it also is winning, feeling 100%. that I didn't really get a feel I don't remember many losses from my younger days, because I didn't have any big ones.
Yeah.
So, but I think the wins, the faith that every coach that I've had around me has kept just putting sparks in me every time. Because I think football's hard.
100%.
Football is one of the hardest sports, and I think the discipline that it does give you and the structure it does give you to a life is what is so special about it.
100%. I mean, obviously, so you went to DePaul, I went to St. Peter's Prep, and both in what is it called now?
The Big North is what it was called when we were there, but I think I think the competition in Jersey has just gotten wider. Where you have Red Bank Catholic now, you have Del Barton's showing something now.
Yeah. I
mean, DePaul this year was by far the best team in the state. By
Crazy.
far. We had 4 kids at the national championship.
Yeah.
that graduated in December from DePaul.
Already up there.
Already up there at the game. 4 of them, 2 on Notre Dame, 2 on Ohio State.
And I feel like, I mean, to that point, you know, I was going to talk about it a little later. We can just get into it now a little bit. But for Jersey football, I feel like so underrated.
Underrated. Well, I think it's small. I think the sample size is very small, which you don't get from these big places like Florida, like Texas, like
you can
California.
Go Georgia, Cali, yeah, like
it's such a confined space, and I think that's what people are doing now. Like, more people are recruiting, more people are being able to take from farther distances, and more teams are becoming better.
Yeah,
because they're looking more.
And I was gonna say, like, when we were a little bit younger, like, well, obviously when we were younger, we were in high school, bro. Dudes would come from all over just to play in our conference, right? Yeah. It's like it's DePaul, Paramus, St. Joe's, Don Bosco, Bergen Catholic, St. Peter's Prep, and I think Seton Hall is in our conference. But and then, like you said, now you have the uprising of a Seton Hall, you have the uprising of a Del Barton, you know, a Red Bank Catholic. That now it's like all of these, you know, private schools, kind of like we're all-star teams, right? Like, he had the top players from, you know, these individual towns all coming to compete, almost like at a collegiate level, but in high school, right? Like with these college, college level programs for training and strength conditioning. You know, how to study film, how to, you know, look at the game. Like, dude, like there were some points in which it literally felt like I was in a college program, and because everyone in front of you was committed to a Notre Dame and Ohio State, you know, they're just Power 5 schools and stuff like that. So, how do you think that really impacted your ability to translate it to Holy Cross?
Yeah. So I'm going to start with my freshman year at DePaul. Yeah. Because I was a late sprouter, so I wasn't seen as a good football player, especially my freshman year. And my head coach said it in our last banquet speech. He was like, freshman year, I really didn't think you were ever going to be able to play. And I didn't hear that till the end, but, you know, my freshman year was pretty big. I played all year, but wasn't the best, but I made some great friends and great people. My mom being a team mom, she was out after every camp practice with her trunk open with candy and snacks for everybody. And two seniors that were a part of the senior class at DePaul hopped in my mom's car at the end of one of the practices. And you know how she is. She just was like, started talking, and ended up them coming to dinner. And this was Kareem Walker and Rais Johnson, who is, Rais is my brother. Yeah. Don't want to say blood, but we're basically blood. Like, we'll do anything for each other. And they came over for dinner, and then we found out Rais's story, and he was literally taking 2 buses to get to DePaul, like an hour. So he was all the way in Roselle Park. Yeah. So, I mean, way too far. My mom was like, nah, that's not happening. And he was, at this time, he was already committed to Rhode Island, like going there. But he was just such a great kid. And I think that's what these schools and coaches do, is bring a tight-knit group, which is what all Jersey's about. Yeah. And, you know, making friends like Rais and him going to, you know, Rhode Island and being a star and seeing the work he put in, and then, you know, just you keep gaining faith. And I had a hard time my junior year because I wasn't grown yet. And junior year is a big year. Like, that's the year you get offers. You get recruited. And that was also our best year at DePaul. So we finished that year number 8 in the country, beating St. Joe's in the state championship. But the start of that year, I was ready to quit. Like, I was down on my knees quitting. Like, I told my coach, I was like, I'm quitting. After they told me I wasn't playing against Bergen. Yeah. Which I was like, I'm done. I'm done. And then he was like, no, just persevere. Just persevere. And then my mom was like, you could do whatever you want, but like, you're going to want to do it. And that was an influential moment for me, like pushing through it. And I don't think it would have been there without the people and the faith that have been put in me. So I think DePaul was a very influential, like, building block, and to see what culture does and stability does for a person. And when I got to my chance, my senior year, I was just able to let it rip. I had some of the greatest athletes around me, Ronnie and Taquan and all my other teammates, and it was just easy. And after that year of not playing, I had 2 offers. I committed before not playing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was just super lucky to be a part of that team and have the coaches and teammates to, push me.
I think that you brought up a really good point about, having that faith, right? Like you're not always going to see that like immediate just response. You know what I mean? Like I think like right now there's kind of an epidemic of like instant gratification, right? Like a lot of people, want to do stuff and reap the benefits immediately. Sometimes you got to kind of invest your time and, it's not going to look perfect. It's not going to look exactly how you want it to look, but, you got to have that faith that, as long as you keep putting it in, keep your head down and do what you got to do, And I think that at our schools, because I played freshman football freshman year, and sophomore year I was able to, get on the scene a little bit. But again, like I was smaller, right? And kind of like relating to your story a little bit, that junior year is a big year. And, I kind of always trained the same. I trained as if I was the starter, my freshman year. And I think that with our schools, being that the way that they're built, it can make it a little bit easier to have faith because you see, all right, the guys in front of you that you're training with every day, you're like, all right, he's here every day. He's working hard. He's lifting. He's running. He's on time. And he's getting offers. And he's going to school. You know what I mean? I always tell people every receiver that I started with at St. Peter's Prep played Division I football. So it was like, this is what you do. This is the standard. And I felt like, even though obviously during high school we hated each other, we were all kind of like the same type of school. That's why we were able to, compete. And bro, I think my senior year, every in-conference game we had was a top 25 matchup. Yeah. Right? Like we beat Bergen, and then the next week lost to y'all. Yeah. And then,
that was crazy.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, you just never knew what was going to happen.
And then we lost. Oh, dude.
You know what I mean? Like, it was just a carousel of like, who's beating who. And, every team you're going against, all right, they got, this guy's a 4-star, this guy's a 5-star, this guy, you know what I mean? Like, but at the end of the day, it really didn't matter. Give you the opportunity to prove yourself and make plays. And, dude, one thing I really liked about how our stuff was set up was, basically them first 2 games being like out-of-state games. Because, again, like that's kind of the stuff that I brag on now. Like, bro, we'd go play IMG and, bro, my sophomore year, we went to Ireland and we played like Blessed Trinity from Georgia.
Crazy.
And it was just like, all these guys and everything like, oh, Georgia football, Texas and Florida. And again, it's good. I'm not saying it's not good, but Jersey doesn't really get that credit. We would go down and play these teams and, even Bergen Catholic, they would go and play Modern Day and all that type of stuff. So, I think that sometimes it's undermined how much talent comes out of New Jersey. I mean, bro, we're the 3rd smallest state with the 8th largest population. It got the most densely populated state with so much talent. I think that obviously we get a lot of credit for basketball. I think we get a lot of credit for wrestling. I don't think we get as much credit for football when we got some monsters coming out of New Jersey every year.
Monsters. And there's monsters in the NFL. Bro. You got Minka. You got Quentin Nelson, one of the best guards. You got
Jabril. You got Rashawn Gary. Like every team, you find 1 or 2 dudes you didn't even know were from New Jersey.
And guess what? Our population's probably one of the smallest. It's the mindset that I think also what's a big thing is the rivalries that our schools have. That has been being built since ever. I was watching there's a show called The Pacific. If you ever seen Band of Brothers, it's World War II, but it's World War II in the Pacific. And they start off the story with this guy's a reporter, but he's a North Jersey reporter. And goes to the war, has these crazy, it's war, World War II in Japan. It's probably like the worst stuff you could see. Yeah. But when he comes home, like the last scene is him writing a report, and it's like, this week we got the biggest matchup: Don Bosco Prep versus Bergen Catholic. Yeah. And like this, like these rivalries, this anger, or not anger, but this bond of football in New Jersey has been going on longer than most places probably. And I think that's what, builds character in people, and, having that faith with the people before you, and it just, it carries on.
You almost inherit it.
You do. Like, especially going to the school and, when you have your coaches, like you put in faith, like you almost inherit everybody before you.
Oh, you take pride in, winning those games, right? Like your rivalry and stuff like that. I mean, that game, especially every year, is on ESPN and all
it's the
that
biggest
stuff.
thing ever. Like we got to experience that in high school, which I think you get it other places. Like Texas is a different story, but how small this place is, like everybody's talking about it that week.
Oh yeah,
Everybody is,
and everyone knows everyone.
Yeah,
So-
everyone knows everyone. That's the good part. Like
Yeah,
you could say a name and they'll be like, oh yeah.
100%. So I'm gonna take a little bit of break from break it up a little bit. We're gonna do some free agent reactions. It's about that time in the NFL. In the off season. Combine's already done. So there's pro days and stuff. Free agency starts up within a week, and a lot of movement. Obviously, we're gonna start with your guy Joe.
Yeah.
Joe just got traded to the Bears.
Yeah, he did. What I want to start off with, Joe, is when I got there, I mean, a bunch of people in the media were like, oh, they drafted a very similar body type to Joe. So I knew Joe was like a guy that I could connect with. And you look at Joe's career, and he has 4 Super Bowl rings. He played with 2 of the best quarterbacks of all time.
Yeah.
He's done it for almost 10 years. And when I got in there, and you expect people to, be some type of way, hold some type of ego. And, Joe was just a true great person, took me under his wing, was a leader. And he not only did it by talking to me, but he did it everything else, like on the field, everything. Truly, like for his body, he's one of the greatest to ever do it. Like I told him this all the time, like the intelligence he has and just like the way his body moves for who he is just incredible. He's one of the best O-linemen I've ever seen play the game. So I was lucky enough to get a lot of great experience out of him, and it sucks that he's leaving. I mean, such an influential guy to me, and I'm sure to a lot of other people. He's one of literally the greatest O-linemen to ever do it. There's not any other O-lineman that has more Super Bowl rings than him.
Yeah.
Which for me, winning is the number one thing as a football player.
It's the name of the game. So, I mean, obviously a lot of high praise for him. You're excited for him and everything like that. Obviously, I mean, you guys are going to keep your relationship and, stay connected and stuff like that. Travis Kelce is returning.
Yes.
And one of the greatest tight ends ever. So, I mean, could you speak to that?
Yeah. Trav is a phenomenal leader and just a bright light everywhere he goes. You'd think he would come out to practice and, slug through it. No, he's the one zooming around, screaming, yelling. He's a guy that's a locker room full team guy. And, to have him back for another year, I sit next to him in team meetings, and he's just an excellent guy, an excellent example for a teammate, and especially for how long he's been doing it.
Yeah.
Like, he's just an excellent guy, and he's a goofball. That's what I love about him. And I think our coach Reed says it almost every day. Let your personality show. Like, be yourself. And he knows how to be himself and, bring everybody around him. And I think that's what I truly love about him, his personality and how the tenacity he has on the field every time he goes out there there's no one like it. So can't wait to get another year with him.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it's definitely advantageous to, continue that legendary duo of him and Pat. I think the team, obviously, like you said, will feed off of it. Now, in other news, we got some receivers moving around. This is, kind of moving away from talking about the Chiefs, but you got DK Metcalf requesting a trade. You got Devontae Adams becoming a free agent. You got the Bengals. They just franchise tag T Higgins and stuff like that. So one thing I would like to ask you, because I've been learning more and more about all of this, what has this season taught you about kind of the business of the NFL?
Yeah.
And I mean, you could be with someone one week and all of a sudden they're on another team and everything like that. So I mean, kind of, what's your insight on that?
Yeah, it's a ruthless business. Absolutely ruthless. You have to be attentive in everything you do, and you have to produce. If I lost one of my closest buddies halfway through the year,
Yeah.
Like never thought it could happen, but one day he was just gone.
Yeah.
And a new guy was in there. And it just shows you how, like, you just have to be on, like, literally on top of your stuff at all times, or it's just sometimes it won't work out. And especially, and it goes both ways.
Yeah.
It goes both ways for management, like the DK situation. I'm guaranteeing it mostly wasn't his fault. The lack of communication and just people, like, I hate to say it because it's a team, like it's a team sport and you got to all be in together, and it's hard to get everyone together, especially when you're making a lot of money, but you have to take sacrifices, and I think it has to go both ways.
Yeah. It's a compromise.
It's just ruthless that, you know, people, like, sometimes you don't see that it could be coming and your boy could be gone, but at the end of the day, sometimes it just has to be done. But also, like DK, like he probably was like, it has to be done.
Yeah.
Like, they're not communicating. They just sold my buddy away.
Yeah. Then go lock it.
That's what I think a lot of NFL players, at least the stars, are able to do.
Oh, yeah.
They're able to be like, especially receiver. I think it's a lot different for O-linemen. Okay. Like, no one's going to be like, unless you're a god, like Trey or anything. It's a lot harder to, you know, ask for money or ask for anything. You got to be
definitely undervalued.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? But, you know, the touchdowns and
you need everything.
You got to sell the game.
I think it's a lot harder. That's what I'm saying. It's a lot harder to find a DK than an old lineman that's willing to sell his body for his job. I think it just comes with that old lineman status.
That's true. I think to that point, bro, good old linemen are hard to come by though. Yeah. I feel like, and you can, when you get a consistent guy, you can kind of depend on him for a long time. Like, I think that, I mean, you know, with the salary cap going up every year, you know, there's going to be like different money being moved around and stuff like that, and different people getting appreciated. I mean, like last year, you know, running backs kind of made a statement, right? Yeah, they were 100%. Undervalued. Yeah. And then, you know, you get a Saquon, you get a Derrick Henry, you get a Josh Jacobs. And I mean, the Eagles just paid Saquon. Now he's a $20 million. I mean, we were talking a year ago.
He earned it and deserved it.
100%.
And you know what? He's probably an immaculate team guy. Yeah. And that's what probably got him.
100%.
That extra little bit. And I think that's the biggest thing. If you're not a team guy, if you're not, at least for us, if you're not attentive to coaches, if you're not that, they'll just, if you do something wrong, like, they won't tell you, but
it makes it easier.
Yeah.
Makes it easier for sure. Were you guys, were the Chiefs cutting people during camp?
Not in camp. They waited till the last cut.
Because I noticed some teams, from talking to, you know, other guys, some teams waited, you know, to the end of camp to make the, you know, this year was the one cut. And then some other teams, like, dude, I mean, there was sometimes, you know, with the Giants, on the offensive side, we were pretty consistent. I think that they, you know, had a good group and kind of wanted to see what they had there a little bit. But like, bro, with the back half of our defense, there were some days, like, I legitimately, we go to practice, you know, one guy would have a tough time. Let's say he's wearing number 23. We get to the locker room, everyone, you know, we're letting, you know, next play, all that stuff. Cause you know, dude's head in his hands and stuff like that. Bro, we go to lunch, we come back, his locker's cleaned out. I'd be like, okay, you know, I'm Rick, so I don't know what exactly is going on. We go to meetings, I'd come back, and there's another dude wearing 23 in his locker. Like, I'm
that's
like,
how it is.
Damn. You know what I mean? Like, it kind of just shocks you a little bit, lets you know how quickly that stuff can happen. And I think it, you know, talking to some friends, it's like that really, really thin balance of like understanding, like, all right, man, I could be cut any moment. You know, this is super serious. Everything matters, you know, 1,000 times more than what it used to. But then, like you said, being yourself, still having that confidence and everything like that. Because, you know, there were times where, like, I was talking to some people that, like, walking on eggshell stuff can kind of limit you. You know, you don't want to, you know what I mean, 100%. Really be the full you. Like, there's certain things that we do that, you know, you kind of bring that swag to your game. You know, you kind of do what got you there. At the end of the day, it's the balance of between, like, doing that and then doing exactly what's being asked of you.
You're so right. You're so right.
I think, bro, that was the mental battle for me, like every day.
Every day. And I honestly, throughout the season, I had it. Because, like, as an O-lineman, once you stop wearing pads, it almost becomes a walkthrough.
Yeah.
And you just stop. Like, and especially I don't have games over the weekend.
Yeah.
So it was just hard, like, to continue trying to better myself, but also, like, better my mind and tell myself, oh, it's only in spiders. Like,
Yeah.
we're all good. But I think that's the biggest thing, confidence. And I told my O-line coach this, like, the second week, because he knew I'm a spurgy guy out there. Like, I want to do the best, so I'm gonna, whatever you say, I'm gonna do it.
100%.
And he was like, you just gotta, calm down and just get confidence. And I was like, Coach, once I have my confidence, it's over. Like, it's over.
It's just
it's over. And that's what I think this year was so big for me. Like, it gave me so much confidence in myself, and now I'm just gonna be able to go out there and just let it rip. And 100%. I think that's what Coach Chesney said. You just got to be able to go out there and let it rip,
bro. And I think that, like, at least for, obviously you can speak to, like, offensive linemen, but, we're both on offense. For me, it was like learning that playbook. Like, it's hard to have the confidence when you don't have the confidence in yourself knowing 100% what you're going to do. Yeah. Like, when the plays were getting called and, like, I'm running to my position, like, in the formation, I'm sitting there like, all right, I think I got to do this. All right. And then, like, we had a bunch of coverage specific routes. So, all right, if it's cover 2, I'm doing a with hitch. If it's man, I'm breaking out. If it's cover 3, I'm doing a slant. And
you got it harder than me.
Like, so I'm saying, like, it's a lot of thinking out there, really fast. And, we have the
speed of it is just, it's way different.
And you're going, now it's like, we went from college. Now, luckily enough, I went to Wyoming that last year. We had a pro style offense. So I'm used to getting a call and everything like that. But I'm not used to having a can and a kill in the play. And it's, for the viewers who might not know what that means, is like you'll get a play call, right, where it's formation, protection, play, whatever, and then he'll say can, meaning that if they say can, it goes to this play, they'll give you a second play, and he might even give you a kill, which is a third play. So it's damn near a paragraph he's saying in the huddle. That's like as fast as he can. He might say it twice, might not. Ready, break, you run your position. And I mean, bro, for me, especially with the Giants, every play had a shift. Every play had a motion. So, they're different tempos, all that stuff. I'm going over here. All right, now he's saying kill. I'm lining up here. He's saying final. Which, I mean, like, there's a bunch of words.
It's a lot easier for me because you only get certain types of plays. Yeah. Inside zone, outside zone, sweep. Like, everything for me is pretty much compartmentalized. Yeah. And then I just have to worry about my steps. Yeah. And the count. For you,
I'm saying, bro, like,
and then I also think about quarterbacks. It's like, bro, they got to know everybody's.
I don't know how they do it.
And I'm like,
checking protections.
Because, like, I scroll through the receiver stuff. Yeah. And I'm like, well, like, good luck. Yeah. And then, like, what our coach, since I've been playing center, is like, you got to know the formations. You got to know where your tight ends and receivers are.
Have to.
So that was also a huge thing for me. And different formations bring different fronts. Yep. So it's, for us, like, for me, it's pretty easy recognizing. Like, I see the field pretty well, especially like, because everything's pretty much similar, and you're always prepared when you're going into it. Yeah. The hardest thing for us is blitzes. And
they get exotic.
Really, the hardest thing is blocking the D linemen because they're all just freaks. Yeah. But it's blitzes, and different teams blitz different ways. Like, Eagles, 0.
No blitz.
0 blitz, but they had 50% pressure, which you just can't win a game like that. Yeah. And but, like, other teams will blitz 75% of the time, just sending a single backer, and you just got to be ready. So, like, for you to have to go through motions, and you got to know motions, you got to memorize these things. Like, for me, I memorize a number, and then, like, the practice takes me through my steps, and then I should get there, as long as I know what the defense is doing, which is, they show it pretty easily.
And then, like, bro, like, the one thing I was talking to some of my friends about was, like, it's so much easier when you get out of camp, at least for me, because, bro, in camp we were putting in, like, so we would put in our install, which might be 40, 50 plays. But then we would also install like every day an additional like 30 or 40 one-word plays, you know, because, you know, Dable was with the Giants, he was the head coach and the offensive coordinator, so he could just call a play at any moment. You know what I mean? And that's the thing, when you're head coach or OC, at any moment, any segment, you know, let's just go 2 minute, and they'll just, you know, start calling plays, and you know, they're just testing certain guys and stuff. So you always had to be ready. But like you said, I mean, when you do your homework and you put that time in and you grind and everything like that, once you start to really know what you're doing, then I feel like that confidence and like that who you are kind of like shines through, and it's like, all right, now I get to be who I want to be.
The one thing that Coach Smith, our line coach in college, who's like, you got to visualize everything.
Yeah.
You got to be able to close your eyes and see it in your head. And especially after you made a mistake, envision you doing that mistake, but like perfectly. And it shouldn't happen again. And I think that's what helped me out a lot, which visualizing and then getting it done. But like you said, with the like after the season, it becomes a lot easier. I thought, so true, it does. You got the whole playbook in. Now you're only game planning for the week, so it's only a certain amount of plays. You only got a certain amount of stuff to worry about.
It cuts it all down.
It cuts it all basically to 10% of it.
Yeah.
And I think honestly, it kind of hurt because, at least I think it does, like not keeping your mind fresh in everything.
Yeah.
Like you could get to week 14 and you could have a play that you haven't ran since camp. It's a lot different for me as a rookie.
Yeah.
They've been through it 2 years, so it's notable, but you know, it's stuff comes in and out, which I think is good, but I would I like just like open playbook. Like, let's run whatever we want. We should know what we have to do at any time.
Yeah. 100%. I mean, it's almost
and
like
that's why
that.
it's almost you get a little bit of satisfaction. You're like, oh, I know what's going on. Like, it's not a problem. In reality, like, you could get into the game and you could have a different game plan at halftime.
Bro, 100%.
Like,
I feel like that's the game halftime adjustments because, you know, I always hate like when I'm watching a game with someone who doesn't really watch football that much, and the first drive goes perfectly, and they're like, "Oh, this game's over," and I'm like, "First drive scripted,
yeah,
you know what
literally
I mean?
scripted.
You're seeing
We get
everything you watch on tape.
We literally get a page of the first 15 plays.
Yeah,
like we know what we're running.
100%. CJ, you know, I think one thing that you're known for is your hair. You know, you got the flow, you got the lettuce.
I do have the flow and lettuce.
So we're gonna do
now
blind
I got
ranking.
the beard.
Now you got the beard,
which makes it work a little bit more.
grown man.
Yeah, it's a little. Well, no, I'm not grown yet. But
So
one day.
we're gonna do blind rankings on your haircuts through the years. What we're gonna do is what 1 through 5.
1 through 5.
Yeah, 1 through 5. 1 being the best, 5 being, I'm not gonna say the worst, but you know you're.
Yeah.
So all right, we're gonna start with this one. Do I have to show the camera, or can we just put it up on the?
No, I'll put it up.
Bet.
All right.
We'll start with this.
Yeah,
one.
this is Aspen, Holy Cross freshman year. I wasn't traveling. It was a good time. Turtleneck, I don't think is me. Maybe if I had a beard. Do I have to?
You got to rank that one 1 through 5.
Okay.
Without knowing what the rest.
I'm gonna go 4.
Okay. Second one.
That is a picture of me sideline with my little rag on my head. Great eye black. We don't allow eye black on the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will put it on the first game. O-line coach goes, we don't do that. And I wipe it off immediately.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's my war paint. I give this one a 2. Love the whole idea of this fit and
Pretty high.
yeah, pretty high. Combine photo. I was locked in.
Locked.
The legs in this photo are really nice. I don't want to. So I gave 4, 2.
Yeah. You got 1, 3, and 5.
I'll put this one at 3,
That's safe.
5 for the long hair down.
Yeah.
This was too long at this point.
Yeah.
I got it more at like ear level now.
Yeah.
I think it's perfect.
Yeah.
But this also comes out of the helmet, which I think looked the best
Kind
in
of
a
sick.
helmet.
Yeah. It's like that Viking look a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So your last one has to be 1.
Yeah, 5 and then 1. Yeah, I take this with 1. I like the hair up.
Yeah.
Looks more sleek, put together. This was one of my first pictures from Holy Cross that I felt confident enough of posting of myself.
There you go.
I'll go with this. I wish I was a little bit more tan though, white as hell. But I take the hair up any day.
Yeah.
I love the hair up. It makes me more comfortable. The hair on your face is just not. It's not fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not fun. But yeah.
Because I was committed to Lehigh. When I ended up having to decommit from Lehigh because their head coach had stepped down. I wanted to see what was going on. Coach Viganic and Coach Chesney came down, visited me. I think it was 4 days in a row.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just coming straight down, came to Jersey City, took me out of class and everything like that. We sat down and talked, and we had Big Hanson at the time, so he kind of knew what they were about, and they were just like, bro, just come up to visit. And we had punter Pat. Yeah, he was
What a great dude.
Pat Hogney. We all know he was already committed. I had my boy Robbie McDonough. He was committed. He was just going to school at Holy Cross, but I had some guys that knew Holy Cross, and were kind of, so I was getting it from a bunch of different sides. Everyone was, bro, just go visit, and then I end up going up, and once you go up and visit Holy Cross, especially if you're considering FCS or Patriot League, and you go visit Holy Cross, it's second to none.
There's not better facilities you're gonna find.
Yeah.
And better environment to just play football,
Dude,
with your buddies.
And I think that one thing that kind of gets undermined is just the alignment. I think Coach Chesney always talks about alignment and everything like that, but like just from top down, right? We had the alumni network, we had the backing from our front. I was gonna say front office, but like our just staff overall, right? The everyone kind of believed in us. It felt like. And, you got the coaching staff to, head coach, offensive coordinator to position coach to just the entire school. It just felt like it was behind us, supporting us. And I don't know about like we can talk about your visit a little bit or, what they were kind of talking about with you. But for me, from freshman year, they were like, bro, you're going to go here. You're going to get a degree. You're not going to have to worry about a job. But before even any of that, we're going to go to the NFL. And this is how we're going to get it to you. And, obviously having Coach Grotzky there, he's like, all right, you weigh this right now. We're going to get you to this size and this speed, and you're going to be, this body fat percentage and everything like that. Had a whole plan, broke it down for me and everything like that on my visit. To me, it was just like they're just checking all the boxes, and I'm getting the best of both worlds.
Yep. And I agree with you. They literally checked every box for excellence as a football player. For the athlete side, they had everything there for us to be great, and I think we were great throughout our all years. And we bonded, and we went through adversity together, and we were able to become great, and push everybody to their max and chase our dreams. And I think it goes both ways. And I think with the connections that you have at Holy Cross, you're able to literally do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Whatever atmosphere you want to go into in the world, there's someone there to help you. There's an alumni, there's a teacher, there's a coach, there's somebody that's been along a similar path and is willing to give you the head start that you need in life. And I think we all got it in football wise, and I think a lot of people got it with mentors and alumni that took them under their wing and taught them the ropes of the business world. And I think it really made everyone able to be excellent on and off the field and excel after college, which I think was the big part. Everyone's doing, like, all of our friends are doing what they want to be doing and doing well. And
100%.
That's really all that matters. The success rate that is there within school and football, it's second to none.
I mean, and you even spoke to it a little bit. When we were there, Larry Doyle, the 90 wide, they would kind of mention, the commitment to excellence. And, when you're younger, that stuff kind of is just titles and, kind of like slogans that are told to you. But then when you get older, you kind of understand that that's what we're doing every day, right? We kind of had that standard of excellence. I mean, I went there for 4 years. You went there for 5. You have 5 championships. I have 4. Never before done. I lost 1 game in conference in 4 years. Bro, we have the last undefeated season at Holy Cross, the first time they ever beat Harvard and Yale in the same season. We have all of the school's playoff wins under our belt. You know, we have a lot of records that we can be proud of, and
We did excellence there.
You know what I mean?
Created excellence,
and it started our freshman year.
Yeah, it started off freshman year, and I think when we all got in there, we knew we were Chesney's first class.
Yeah.
We had that shit to us. I think all of us did, and I think they did a good job recruiting guys that had the shit to them, like Jacob Dobbs, like you, like me. We all came from great programs, from winning programs, knew how to
100%.
win, and we knew they knew how to win, and that trust of maybe doing mistakes, but that's where the bond comes from, messing up and fixing it together. And I think we were able to rebuild Holy Cross very quickly, and it was a special time.
100%. I think a big part of that was, you know, Coach Chesney always told us it was our team.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he obviously, you know, they set the standard. They, you know, let us know what the culture was. Him and, you know, Coach Grodsky and the whole staff overall. You know, I think again they had a lot of alignment. You know, we were all on the same page and stuff like that. But like with it being our team, we took a lot of ownership, right? Like when there was something that had Holy Cross football name on it, like we took pride in making sure that it was the best thing. Like when we had the it's like be the match. We had that.
Everybody
got
did
the
it.
most people signed up of any campus anywhere, and we only have 4,000 kids on campus. Right?
It
We
shows
took
you the
that-
power
Yeah.
of just like whatever it takes. Like we do shit for each other,
Yeah.
and we do shit for the greater good
The greater good.
of not only the team but everybody around you.
Yeah, and I think, bro, it helped us become better, not just football players, but better students. You know, better men. A lot of people, you know, eventually better fathers.
Yeah.
You know, better husbands, stuff like that, because, you know, that's kind of what football is about, right? Being able to sacrifice the me for the we, understanding that. And I think, again, I mean, selfishly, I feel like a lot of our success came from getting more dudes from Jersey. You know, each year we got a lot. And it's just because our conference, you know, that Big North, that, you know, super football conference, all understood what playing at an elite level was like, right? But they were all private schools. They were all, you know, schools where, you know, most of us had uniforms, right? And school was still a big thing, but giving back to your community, you know, being a good person, those were things that were being taught, and you know, just carried over. And I mean, I'm super proud of what we were able to do there. My next question to you would be, what was your favorite championship out of your 5?
Favorite, obviously, I mean, the undefeated season was my favorite season, without a doubt. I mean, I felt like that team was just...
We had a national championship team.
We shouldn't have lost that game.
Yeah.
And when I went to the training with the South Dakota State guys, they were like, yeah, you were the only team that, like, even gave us a little bit of a scare.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean...
only team. We would have... Like, we were just a couple plays off, literally a couple plays off, and they're such a good team. And the one guy I'm closest to is the starting guard for the Steelers now. I mean, they're an incredible team, but that season was just so influential in my life.
Yeah.
And one thing to add on to what you were saying, Coach Ches always used to say, energy is never neutral.
Yeah.
Energy is never neutral. You'll never, like... It's either giving or pulling.
Yeah, push or pull.
You always have to give energy to people and give energy to everything you do, or you just always stay neutral.
Yeah.
You always stay neutral. If you want to go forward, got to be positive about everything you do.
I was gonna say, what would you say is, because Chesney has a bunch of great sayings. Would you say that's your favorite Chesney saying? Because I'll give you mine.
Like, I think that's one of the ones that's most influential to me.
Yeah.
But I think our team prayer is like the most, like the one thing that he said that will, I mean, live with me forever.
No, I feel you. My favorite Chesney, I guess, saying would be, I'm not sure which game. I think it was one of our playoff games, or I can't remember. It was a big game. And he told us, if you're 99% sure we're going to win, I'm 100% sure you're going to lose. Mm-hmm. And I remember when he first said that, I'm like, bro, what the hell is he talking about? Mm-hmm. Like, I'm like, bro, like, that's not giving me confidence right now. You know what I mean? Like, but then he explained, You got to be 100% with this shit. Like, you got to be all in, and you have to believe. Because again, like, there's gonna be points where there's when you're out on that field, they always talk about the man in the arena. Your family loves you. The fans love you. But when stuff goes wrong, they hate you. Whatever. You're hearing this. You might just fail the test. All that stuff. Life is gonna life. But then when you get on those lines, in between those lines is you and your 10 other brothers, and you got to go get it done. And the only thing that's gonna keep you going is that belief, right? You could be down 300 points, but as long as you believe, anything is possible.
And bring positive energy, and everything you do your job at the highest level, everything will fall in place. And that's what I saw it this year.
You saw it this year?
We pulled it out of our butts every single game.
No.
And that's because everyone had faith, everyone brought positive energy, and everyone knew we were going to win that game.
100%.
There wasn't any doubts, zero doubts. He said, I have this one thing from our playoff game against UNH. There are ups and downs, but there will never be doubts.
Yep. And
then he goes on to reincite Revelations, and that was one of my favorite speeches, where he's like, the pale white horse, and he has sat upon him was death, and hell followed with him. Today, hell follows with you. Get chills every time from it. Yeah. But I think that's one thing we got lucky with how good of a motivational and just a father figure type guy we had at the helm.
Yeah, I mean, dude, what we were doing at Holy Cross with the buy-in, like on special teams, there's just a three-phase. Obviously, we had dudes on offense, right? Teams are going to have dudes on offense. We had dudes on defense, right? Like, I mean, I think our junior year, I think we had the number one statistical defense in the country.
In the country.
Right? So, like, we had dudes on defense. But when you have, I think at one point we had 9 offensive or defensive starters on kickoff. Yeah. Right? You have...
So you know.
You know what I mean? I mean, we had 7 straight games with a block punt. Right. When they're showing us the stat of like when you block a punt, I think the percentage to win the game goes up like plus 80% or something like that. And we blocked one 7 games in a row. You know what I mean? Like,
it's like everyone knew what to do. Well, everyone knew they had to do whatever it takes.
100%.
And they did it. And it's because the faith, the fun we had. Like, we had fun the whole time there. Like camp practices, like
we embraced the hard.
Yeah, embrace the hard. And and I think that's what made it so easy for that year. It's just like, oh, I see it.
Yeah.
It's my time.
Yeah.
And then, like he said that year, you're either revealed or exposed.
Bro.
You're either that's number 2
or,
for
bro.
It's number 2
that's
for me.
That's a fact.
You're either revealed or exposed.
You always have to work, and you don't know when your opportunity's coming. Yeah. I mean, you see it now.
You always got to be in that mindset that you're going to be revealed.
Yeah. And then kind of the last thing, talking about Holy Cross, at what point did you have that moment where you're like, you know what, I'm going to do this professionally. Like, I'm going to go to the NFL.
I've always thought I was going to do it.
Yeah.
Like, I've always had the belief in me. It's always what I wanted to do. And I don't think it really hit me till my 5th year.
Okay.
Because no one told me anything. Yeah. Like, no one had anything on me. And then I think my 5th year, when I became a leader for the team, I really jumped into that role because I knew we needed it. And I think scouts saw that, and then agents started hitting me up. And then once I found the agent that I have now, he was really the one where it was like, "Bud, you're not gonna have to. You're good to go." Like, and I was shocked all 5th year. I couldn't believe it was happening. But it just shows, like, I was quiet and I did my work the whole time.
Yeah.
Made sure everything was squared away team wise, and made sure I was doing my job to the best ability, and gave all that positive energy I could to the team, and it just ended up clicking, and I was lucky enough to be where I am now. It happened so fast. Like, I really didn't. It was there one day, and it wasn't there one day, and then the next day I was getting hit up by agents, and it was just the scouting. The scouts apparently gave me a really high preseason grade, and then the first 4 games of my 5th year, I played out of my mind, and then after that, it was kind of grips from there.
Yeah. Like, for me, I always had the dream. At the end of the day, like, if you love the game, you want to play at the highest level, right? You want to go play good football, win championships, and then, take it as far as you can. But like you said, it was almost, for me, I kind of want to say it happened after freshman year, but it was because I had Coach Gilchrist. You know what I mean? He coached us hard.
Yeah.
And at first we butt heads because of it, but then understanding what he was trying to get out of us, and
Same thing with me and Smith.
you know what I mean?
Same
Like
thing.
you need that coach that really understands and wants more for you than you even know, because then it all starts to come together. Yeah, like when you start to realize like, oh wait, like I can actually do it. You know what I mean? Like or I think, like you said, you always have the belief, but when you see other people start to see it how you see it, to where like you can tell people like, I'm trying to go to the NFL, and their reaction isn't like, oh, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
also think was a big thing, Coach Smith going to the league.
that was big.
Like, for me, I think for going into that last season, I was like, oh, my coach of 4 years, who I was basically his guy, is now at that level. There's no reason. And he was always telling me, it was like, you have everything you need.
Yeah.
Just need to
Just got to do it.
keep going. Yeah. Yeah. Coach Smith, he was exactly that guy. I mean, he demanded excellence out of me every time. And all I could remember is our exit meetings after every year. And every year was just a little bit different. The first year was about confidence. Like, you got to get your confidence. You'll get there. And then next year, when I started doing well, he was like, you're going to have a shot. Like, you have everything you need. And then I just kept going. And he's a coach. Like, he's a nice guy, but he's going to demand perfection out of you every which way. And I think that's what makes a good O-line coach, because if you're not perfect, one person out of the 5 that are doing the wrong job, the play's over.
Yeah.
So you got to be on the right page, and you got to be all in it together. And I think that's what we had lucky, is every single one of our coaches was all in. They were sleeping at the office during camp nights.
100%.
They were leaving their family. And it's that also, I think it's that sacrifice, faith, positive attitude. You got to sacrifice some things to, make sure the benefit of the team. And I think our coaches, Coach Smith definitely sacrificed a lot of his time for the perfection of me, and I'm super grateful.
And so Coach Smith was what, your O-line coach for the first four?
Yeah,
and
left
then
the 5th year.
He was OC your senior year though.
Yeah, he was.
Well, but he was still O-line coach. Yeah, so you were position coach for 4 years, and then wasn't there your 5th year because he was in the NFL.
NFL, yep.
You got drafted 7th round. I was not at your party initially because I was.
Yeah, we were going through the same thing. One of the most stressful days of our lives.
Yeah, I was here. I got the call that I was, had a couple opportunities, a couple contracts extended to me, and then I signed with the New York Giants. Me and my friends here got in the car, drove right up to your party because, you got drafted. So, we just talk a little bit about that, that day, that experience, and, what was that phone call like?
I mean, it's so emotional. I was crying through the phone call. You dream of moments like those, and you never think you're gonna get there until you're there. It was just full of emotion. Like, there's no way to describe it. I dreamt that moment when I was younger, and it finally came into fruition. And to be there with everybody, like, there's nothing like it.
Yeah.
The emotions that day brought for me, I mean, it's why I will continue to give it my all, because I have so many people around me that care, and that's why I do it. That emotion is not just me, it's everybody around me. So
100%. I think that moment was huge, just because you're the first Holy Cross player to be drafted in 35 years.
It's 88, I think, or 89 was the last
which
time.
Which is crazy. Yeah. Because the amount of guys that we had
the
coming out of there.
Craziest thing, the last person played at Bergen Catholic. He got drafted to the Chiefs.
That's actually crazy.
Yeah. Played at Bergen Catholic, was roommates with my best friend's dad growing up.
Like, sometimes you can't draw it up better.
You literally, it's such a small world,
yeah.
And especially coming from New Jersey,
yeah.
Like, everything's connected, and everything happens for a reason. So you just gotta positive attitude, keep going.
Yeah. Were you and Coker trained at the same spot, right? Down in Fort Myers?
Yeah, Fort Myers X3. We were with Jordan Llewellyn, who, if you look at him, like, we were one of his big years, and I think I trained with him last summer and been talking to him this season. And I was trying to get Dobbs to go down there, but Dobbs was deciding late, and he was like, "Bro, we can't. Like, we're full.
Yeah.
Like, what you guys did." He had 18 players drafted last year, which I mean, it's unheard of. Especially he doesn't get the big recruits. He gets the guys that are like
the diamonds in the rough.
The diamonds in the rough, and he truly does a great job in perfecting all the combine measurements. I think everybody who went there excelled at the combine, excelled at the pro day, and that's why they're where they are. And not only that, great dude. Like a dude that I would be willing to go in and work as hard as I can because he's there and he's trying to get you better. I really lucked out with my trainer. I think I was able to just lock in and be myself down there. I had Jay, I had Dylan Laube, who was UNH running back, and we all kind of hit it off immediately, and it was easy for us to train. Like, it was easy for us to go to work every day and practice on what we needed to get better at.
Yeah.
And we got Luke's doing it right now. So Luke and Terrence are both down there.
Okay.
So they're both running that gauntlet, and they say they love it too. And shout out to Jordan and X3 and LB. They're true great trainers, and I mean, I'll probably be working with them for the rest of my life. So
yeah, that's I feel like is one of those bonds that you build that, like you said, lasts a lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of put a lot of trust in them to take care of you, to make that jump, and for it to pay off the way it has. It's, one of those things that, you just can't beat it. Last thing I want to talk about for that is, how was the East-West Shrine Bowl?
Crazy experience. It's very hectic. It's a week of camp. So you're going from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. You got a 3-hour block of interviews. You got practice. You're going one thing to another. So it happened really quick. And honestly, the East-West was amazing. I thought the format and competition and everything we had to do was great. Eric Galco, the director, I thought he did an amazing job picking the hotel, the venue, setting up everything, the legends they brought to come talk to us. I thought it was a great experience, and I hear a lot of things about the Reese's Senior Bowl and how, like, it's in Mobile, Alabama. It's not in the nicest area. Like, we were in Frisco, Texas. It was at the Star. So, like, we had top facilities. It was excellent the whole week. Obviously stressful, but, in that moment when you want to do greatness, you got to be great every second. And I honestly loved it. Meeting all the guys, like, I made friends with the South Dakota State guys, which, I never thought I would.
No, never.
They're amazing dudes and great players, getting to be able to play next to them. But honestly, just great competition. I think it helped me a lot with just finding the speed and, like, not just finding the speed, but blocking the massive guys.
Yeah, I feel like, like you said, it kind of leans into that confidence. Like, obviously to take that leap, declaring, that you, you tell yourself, I can do this, I'm one of the guys. But to go out there and do it and show, people in the car, I'm going against an SEC guy or a Big Ten guy and still doing the same thing.
It's just football at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, man, it's the same game. The Shrine Bowl and the Combine. Did you get interviewed by the Chiefs? And if you did, like, how did that go?
Combine, I didn't get interviewed by them at the East-West because it was parade week for them. Okay. So they left early.
Coming off the Super Bowl win.
Yeah, coming off the Super Bowl win. Then at the Combine, I got interviewed by our assistant offensive line coach now, Coach Matei. And small guy, like, you wouldn't picture him as an O-line coach, but man, is he, he's locked in, and now I see him, but at the Combine, it was like, it's stressful, like, getting interviewed. Only one I really didn't have stress, which was the hardest one, was with Coach Smith at the Combine. Yeah. Sitting down at a table with an NFL coach, and it just happened to be your coach of 4 years. Yep. It made it a lot easier, and then until he handed me a test and said, good luck. Yeah. And then didn't go well. But the Chiefs, it's all just asking questions, what you know and what you call things, how you would get out of this situation or deal with this situation. And I think they like really liked the idea of me, and I think that's what they took me on. I think they were like, we know this kid's not going to give up, or he's going to work hard every day, and he's going to try and get better, and he's got every measurable you can want. So think that was a big win for me. And also Veach, I think, is just amazing at scouting and friends with Coach Ches. So, I mean,
There you go.
small world.
Yeah. It's the same game, right?
Yeah.
And I think we talk about it's simple, but not easy.
Yeah.
Right. And I feel like sometimes, people, they over scheme or, scheme themselves out of certain games. And, like they say most games are lost, not won.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it is interesting that in that process, they do ask like, all right, like, what do you call this and everything like that? Because I'm thinking it's going to be a whole new thing. It's a whole new process. Bro, it's the same stuff. The inside zone is inside zone.
It's for me, it's whether I want, who's going to win, me or the man across from me, revealed or exposed.
100%.
For me, it's like that every day. And I think for you guys, it's a little bit different because you got to worry about multiple different people and like.
Bro, I always tell people this. I got to catch the ball and run away from people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
what it is. I got to put my hands on a man and move him.
You know what I mean? Like when people ask like, all right, like what do I got to do? Because, now, starting the channel and stuff like that, people are reaching out and what do I got to do to catch better? I'm like, just catch the football.
Catch the football.
I just keep doing it. How do I I'm like, bro, run fast, put your speed on film, score touchdowns.
Do everything you can to get your catching better.
You know what I mean? Like,
you look up how to get your catching better.
Yeah.
One thing I saw from a vet, D-Hop, first week he was in, he had, in our walkthroughs, he had one of those hand clamps.
Yeah.
Every rep, he was just switching hands, squeezing the clamps, like, didn't drop a pass all year. And like he has glue on his hands just because he puts in the extra effort to grab that ball, take it out of the air.
Yeah.
And it really is the small things when it comes down to it. Because like you said, simple, not easy.
It's not easy.
Because it comes down to the small things that you don't think about.
Yeah, I think that, like you said, it comes down to the little things, locking in, just being consistent. I think that's a big thing that I've kind of been trying to focus on. I could always do the flash play. I could always catch the ball one hand, jump over someone, whatever. But it's about doing that every play, right? Being able to be counted on because, it's one or two plays in every game that kind of sways everything. So obviously you got to be ready to make that play when it comes to you and everything like that.
One guy that I think does it, the best, we played with, Jalen Coker.
100%.
Man just doesn't think. Man knows I'm going to win.
Yep.
And I'm going to be in the right spot, and he's shown it all year. So.
100%. He's an animal. Hopefully, probably the next interview we get done on here will be Coker. So excited for that. Could be Chesney. Could be somebody else. We don't know, but definitely
excited to be the first.
Yeah. CJ here. But all right, so then you kind of mentioned it already, but let's go. You get drafted, they give you a timeline. All right, now you pull up, you guys do what is it, rookie mini camp
into OTAs,
then mandatory.
Then get that month off and then camp. And we go to St. Joe, Missouri, which is like a little farm town. And we're at this college and dorms and everything, hot heat. And we're going from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day. It's just a grind, which I honestly love. It's the best time when you're just not thinking. You're just going straight.
You're getting after it.
Going straight after it.
And you get to see of like all the hard work you put in May, June, July. Now you're getting to see either reap the benefits, like you said, revealed or exposed in that moment. Your camp, I went through camp. You went through camp. You had a team that was coming off back-to-back Super Bowl wins. So, obviously the expectations were higher over there.
To championship level.
100%.
I felt it the day I got there.
Yeah.
No one messes around, especially like work-wise. Anytime you're in the building, you're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And you're attentive and you're giving your all because that's what everyone did around. Everyone, you got there and you were expected to do the right thing.
Yep.
And if you weren't, and you were slow to do it, they didn't like you. So it's the same thing. It's just grinding to be great. You got to grind to be great, and you got to follow your leaders, and that's what made it easy for me because I think the guys were really good at like, following my footsteps, and we'll be good.
Yeah.
And I think I was lucky for that, to have the leaders that I had, at least on my O-line.
More into like your entire rookie season past camp, making the team. I know you're elated, you know what I mean? Now it's all right, bet now we can get to work. Did you have a welcome to the NFL moment,
I mean, in practices, yeah, like one-on-ones, they were definitely like a welcome to the NFL moment, where I was like, these guys are bigger, stronger, and faster. Like,
Yeah.
especially like the first time blocking Chris, like you don't know how fast he is until you try and block him, and then you're like, how is that possible? Like, it's almost impossible, but it's getting better every day. And like the next day you do block him, and you're like, oh, I can do this. And then it just continue from there. But like, it's the speed, the people you're blocking. It's a different game than college, because it's your job. People have families to feed.
100%.
Like, people, like, you got to give everything you got, or it's just not gonna pay out well for you.
Yeah. I would say that was the one thing that I really noticed was, dude, they close in on the ball super fast.
So fast.
On the outside, the speed is relatively like similar to playing high level college football. Like I was able to, Mountain West football is pretty good, but I was able to play at Texas last year, and those dudes were flying around. They got speed.
You're not gonna get better athletes.
You know what I mean? So like on the outside, I was kind of used to it. And bro, oddly enough, while at Wyoming, we played some like bro, Texas Tech had 2 6'4" corners, 220. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah,
You mean like I'm not gonna play a bigger corner than this. And there's different nuances with that. They have longer arms. You might have to go a little bit wider and stuff like that. But just getting in and out of cuts faster and all that stuff. But definitely with the camp with the Giants, man, you catch that ball. Like there were times where I always tell my friends, man, I caught a sweep, and I cut up, and I got tapped off. Right, we're in tap off tempo, and I looked back, and it was Dexter Lawrence.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, this dude's like 300 pounds.
Scary man.
You know what I mean? And he's tracking me down. Like, I'm not used to that. You know what I mean?
One of the people that my O-line are always say like Dexter is.
Oh, dude, unbelievable. I mean, going into camp, we had Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence, Kayvon Thibodeau, Azeez Ojulari, Benton was out there. We had Tamon Fox, bro. We had dogs out there just ripping it, bro. Nacho, bro. So, and then bringing up Nacho, he was a dude, just an awesome leader, an awesome person to I would say look up to, but just someone I could relate to. Man, you come in every morning. He walks in. Good morning, everyone. Doesn't have to do that stuff. I think he's on his 12th year, 13th year, something like that.
Brings positivity.
You know what I mean?
Every day.
Bro, and you get to sit there, ask him questions. I mean, I talk to him about real estate, talk to him about football, talk to him about life, talk to him about whatever. And I felt like I was able to do that a lot. I kind of came in there a little bit quieter. I like to observe, and you're going in there to work, but you meet good people, especially like the older guys. They've been in there a long time. You want to ask them questions, because at the end of the day, you want to be like them, right? You want to be in the league for 11 years if you could. So, I had dudes like Allen Robinson. I had Nacho, just dudes that would kind of take me under their wing. Did you have anyone that you could point to and be like, all right, this guy kind of took me under his wing?
I think all the interior O linemen.
Yeah.
I think Creed, Trey, Joe, and Mike, the 3 players or 4 players, they all are just immaculate leaders. Like you said, we could talk about anything. They're gonna try and help us in any way, whether it be real estate, finance, whether it be talking to a coach or a play. Like, they were there for me. Any question I had. And they were also great friends to me. They would make sure I was aware and in a good mood and up and, attentive to everything. And I think that's also part of the reason why I think our O-line was so good. It's because we were all on the same page.
Again, it's really hard when, you got guys coming in and out. You can get cut.
That's why
you get traded.
brutal.
It's brutal. They say it's a beautiful game, terrible business. But it's definitely tough. So when you do get those guys, especially – I feel like coming up, all you hear about is, dudes really just being like assholes, especially the younger guys or people don't have as big of a name. You know, I feel like we kind of carry that of we went to smaller schools. I mean, at the end of the day, man, you're in the NFL, right? Exactly. And you know, you got there. You know, what I mean, however you got there. Did they give you any rookie duties?
No, they were actually good. Like, I think they stopped them like the year I had one rookie duty, which was Chick-fil-A every week. Yeah. Which was like, it was $500 worth of Chick-fil-A for the whole team, which I'm willing to do. Like, if I can give everybody Chick-fil-A at one day, and everyone's happy, that's all that matters. Yeah.
We had we had a snack list, you know, in our room, you know, especially during camp, you know, you got to keep the snacks.
Camp, we paid like $1,000 worth of snacks for the O-linemen.
I mean, the O-linemen, because they eat, bro. We had, and the thing is with us, it was, because we only had 3 rookies. It was me and John Giles, another undrafted free agent, and then we had Malik Neighbors, you know, 6 overall pick. So, bro, our list was kind of extensive. But, you know, we, again, like you said, it's one of those things where, like, you're happy to do that type of stuff because, you know, your vets are taking care of you. You know, we had good dudes in there. Isaiah Hodgins, you know, we had Isaiah McKenzie, you know, Allen Robinson, Miles Boykin. These are dudes that, you know, I could sit next to and ask any question. And, you know, our coach, Coach Groh, he would, our receiver coach, he would encourage, you know, if you had a question, you know, to ask them, because obviously he's going to tell you everything and he kind of wants you to know schematically what's going on and everything. But, you know, Allen Robinson, bro, he's been doing this for years. You know, he can tell me exactly, all right, here's what I was doing here, or, you know, here's what I think about this or whatever. And I think that the biggest thing that I was taking away from everyone who was in the league for so long was you have to get something. Allen Robinson said you have to get better at something every day. Right?
Every day. 1%.
You go in there with that mindset, you know, and you're constantly learning. I feel like that moment where you think I got it is when you lose it, right? You got to continuously be getting better, taking away from different people's games. Like, for instance, Allen Robinson is probably 6'3", 6'4". I'm not going to be able to do what he's doing at 6'3", 6'4", but man, he has this crazy split release hezzy that he does, and I'm like, ooh, I could take that. You know what I mean? Malik is a different body type than me, right? But there's a certain way that he breaks and sets up his breaks. I'm like, all right, I'm going to take that. You know, and just trying certain things, you know, labbing certain things, especially for the receiver, you know, because at the end of the day, at the receiver position, we're out there with a paintbrush and everything like that. Is there anyone, you know, before you got to the league or even while you're in the league that you kind of look to, all right, you know, I like his game, or I'm not going to say model your game after, but like, is there someone that you're like, all right, like, I like his game?
I think Joe was like,
he was that for you?
I mean, obviously, like before, I think it was Jason Kelce, like just the tenacity he plays with and the perfection he does. But like, I didn't really know of Joe too much then. And now seeing what Joe's done and how Joe acts and who he is and how he holds himself on the field, like how he took me under his wing and, you know, tried to make me better. Same with Trey, like Trey Smith, like, everything he can do for me, he's trying to do. Anytime we're walking off the field together and he saw something that day, he's walking up to me and be like, just so you know, I mean, like that. Like, I got flustered one day from a drill and he came over to me after. He was like, just don't get flustered. Like, you're good. Like, it always happens. Like, I got really lucky with the guys I had and them putting faith into me pretty early. So guys like Creed, Joe, and Trey, and Mike that really, I mean, brought me to where I am now and gave me the comfort that I have. Yeah.
I think it's important to have that presence, you know, that player presence, you know, kind of that reassurance of, you know, whether it's you know, I've been there or, you know, don't think about that like that. You know what I mean? It's that type of stuff that I think is invaluable, right? Yeah, like you can't, you can't put a price on that. Trying to think. And then, all right, last thing. Well, I keep saying last thing. The last thing I want to talk about kind of with this segment is talk about that first start, right? You know, what is Denver? You get to suit up, you know, you get that nod, you're going out there, you're like, all right, bet this is my moment, like you said. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, you know, going into the week, you got to stay calm and keep the nerves down. And then once I got there in Denver, you know, it was a crazy ride because we almost didn't make it out of the airport because there was a huge snowstorm. So we were on the tarmac for a while. so the whole scheduling was messed up of the weekend, and so it kind of made me not think about the game, which kind of helped. But once I got there, you put on the jersey, you see the rookie premier patch on, you're like, oh, today's the day, and ran out on the field, and that's a moment. And say your prayer. I got super emotional, teared up, and and then I just got this rush of just want to do great, and the calmness of everybody around me, like knowing that I'm going to do great. And I wish I would have played a little bit better, but like Denver was gunning for a playoff spot. I don't think I was the most prepared mentally and physically, but I think I did my job, and I think my coaches saw that I did my job and fixed what I needed to fix. But it was just a special emotional moment to finally be there especially for the Chiefs, going the whole year, watching everybody do great things. Like, you want to be able to show and help your team.
You get to close your eyes.
Yeah.
You hearing the national anthem.
That's the best part. The national anthem, it just puts me in a mood.
Oh, yeah.
It just puts me in a mood.
Bro, you're about to play football.
And that's the best thing about the Chiefs. It goes land of the free, home of the Chiefs. Everyone does it too. And that's even on away games, like everybody's saying that shit.
Yeah.
And the other team feels that.
And you're feeling it. Yeah, you feel it. Hostile takeover. Yeah. It's important to, again, not skim over the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Right. The Super Bowl is one of those things that I think it's the epitome of most football players' dreams. I mean, I guess some people, you probably put Hall of Fame. I don't know if you put Hall of Fame over a Super Bowl. I mean, getting to a Super Bowl, winning a Super Bowl, I think that's really the goal. And you were able to get to the Super Bowl with the Kansas City Chiefs in year one.
Yeah.
That's insane.
It is wild, and technically six league championships in a row for me. So, and it goes back to everything, the winning culture that we've been talking about this whole time.
Yeah.
I felt it on the Chiefs, and when we got there, everyone knew we were supposed to be there, and Super Bowl week was just such a fun time. So many people around interviewing.
Yeah.
You're literally the man of the week.
Yeah.
You're on the team. Like, everybody's tuned in that week. It's your week, and just be a part of a team in that moment. You can't even ask for it. Like, you can't even. It's unthinkable. My O-line coach came up to me before the AFC Championship. He was a first-round draft pick out of Notre Dame, played in the league for over 10 years. He came up to me. He was like, you want to know how many AFC championships I've played in, or championship games I've played in?
How many?
And I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Like,
it's great, man. I think that's the thing about it, man. Like, football is the ultimate team sport. You can have some of the best players, but if you don't have the best team,
everyone's got to buy in. Everyone's got to be on the same page.
100%. And then making it out of the AFC so consistently for the Chiefs. I mean, you have the Bills, you have, the Texans, you have the Ravens. Man, you got a bunch of great teams with great quarterbacks. And yet still the Chiefs consistently, how many AFC championships they've been to? Was it 6 or 7 in a row?
6 or 7 in the last. They've won 6 out of the 7 in the last 6 years, something like that. It's crazy.
Insane.
It just shows you but the leadership, not only from coaches, but to Pat and to our whole defense.
Yeah.
Coach Spagnuolo, our defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
The reason why our offensive line is so good, because we saw every blitz.
Yeah,
we saw everything that could possibly come, because you got a mind like that on defense, and guys on the defense that are willing to do whatever it takes, and whatever it blitzes, going to cloud coverage, flipping, swapping, being ready for any moment. I think our coaches put us in that position, and then every player had the faith and that it was going to work out in our favor, and it just ended up, watching it the whole time, it was incredible to see. Just the way our leaders were able to put faith in everybody and bring us to where we went to. So,
I mean, it's really just amazing. I mean, being on the field, like you said, the whole week, what would you say was like the coolest event of the week?
I think the media night was probably the coolest event. Walking into that stadium with thousands of fans, and it's just a media night. Like you're going in there, there's a whole ceremony, and then you go do interviews. And I think the interviews are the coolest part. Like interacting with different people and like them asking your story, and you get to reminisce and realize you're here. That was when I was like, oh wow, like I'm at the Super Bowl taking interviews for my team. Like it's a pretty crazy moment that I got into, and it honestly went so fast. Like it's been a year, but the things I've experienced in this last year, like I can't even possibly I can't even think of everything I did, because there's way too much that I did that like is way too cool.
Yeah.
That like the half of it I don't even remember.
Yeah.
Already. It's like it's been going so fast.
We saw some stuff about. Was your mom with Taylor Swift?
No, she met Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've met Taylor.
You met Taylor?
Yeah.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah, no, it's very cool. No, I get like I'm telling you, like the experiences that I've had, like I've met some really cool people, and Taylor's a phenomenal woman.
Yeah.
She knew more about like the season standings in the NFL than I did. Like she was laying out our whole plans.
Yeah.
And she was like, just don't let me don't let me have to go to Buffalo again for a playoff game.
Yeah.
Just don't make me. And I was like, wow, like everyone sees her on the media every day, but no one knows how she actually is. And she's
I feel like that's.
I mean, what like perfect for Trav. Like she's a wonderful woman, and it just brings a part of that like the team I'm on. It's like it's wild. Like I'm with literally the two biggest superstars in the NFL.
Yeah.
And I'm going out to eat with them. They're my teammates. I'm practicing with them every day.
So man, this is real life.
Oh yeah, it's real life. And but I don't see them as like.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, they're humans,
normal
man.
ass dudes. Like they're my boys. Like they're who they are, and that's what I love. Everyone treats everybody with respect and a positive attitude. Everything they do. So lucky to have them. But the experiences. I mean, every dinner we went out to, every like.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, like Pat was there every time too. Like anytime we went out to dinner with the O-lineman, like Pat would want to show up.
Yeah.
So. It's little things like that where everyone's.
I feel like people would overlook, something like that, but no, I mean, like it means a lot. Yeah, like especially
the first dinner we had together. It was right after Creed got signed, and halfway through the dinner, Pat shows up. We all eat. Pat leaves first. Creed goes after he signed biggest center contract. Creed goes to pay because that was the idea. Pat was already gone. Yes, Pat took care of all of it. There wasn't a thing that like Pat was involved with that he didn't take care of us. Like, I got a Rolex this year from Pat.
Yeah, I mean, like that's
it's ridiculous. Like, truly, just great humans that understand our job and know that it takes everybody.
100%. I mean, so yeah, I mean, wrapping up year one, you went to the Super Bowl. Unfortunately, you guys didn't come away with the win, but I mean, like you said, it's really about the journey. The fact that you got to a Super Bowl, we were talking about how you had your exit meetings and everything like that. What are your expectations, or kind of what are your goals for year two?
I want to be playing. I want to help out the team any way I can. If I can get on the field, that's what I want. I understand it's whatever they think, and I'm here to do whatever they want. But I know I could play, and I know can be a help to this team in any way, whether they put me out as an extra tackle or a guy, or I play guard or I play center. Just being ready for any moment they need me in. That's really all I need. It's all my goal is, like, as long as I'm doing the right things and they see that I'm doing the right things and I'm getting better, 1% better every day, and they see those strides and they try more and more trust. That's what I want. And I want to be able to play, which ends up coming to getting a little bit bigger this offseason. Definitely need to get a little bit bigger. Going to be blocking Dexter Lawrence this year. So definitely a thing where I need to get stronger and a little bit meatier. But besides that, just being able to play and just give the team whatever I can to benefit us, because I think that's what it's about. You need everybody to buy in, and whatever the coaches decide, wherever, like, you got to live with it. You just got to give it your all every day, and whatever happens, happens. But I know I could play, and I probably will end up playing, but just got to get 1% better every day.
100%. That kind of really concludes most of what we had. I got one question for you. I kind of gave you some time to think about it. I mentioned it before, but DePaul Catholic has had some dudes come out of there. It's time to ask a tough question. If you were to go and create a top 5, you don't have to put them in order. Just give me your top 5 all-time DePaul Catholic football players. Who would you put up there? And the reason why we came up with this question is because at St. Peter's Prep, where I went, we got some pretty good guys, and we started to talk about with Cody Simon just winning the national championship, and probably going to be drafted to the NFL and everything like that. We're trying to figure out, like, okay, like, this kind of moves him up in the rankings and stuff like that. So you'll give your top 5, and I can give my top 5 for St. Peter's Prep, or I can go first. Maybe, I don't know, but I think
you go first.
I'll go first. Okay.
I got mine, but I just got to get the order.
Yeah. So, for us, I think St. Peter's Prep, it's easy to start with Will Hill, one of the greatest Jersey football players ever. Again, I'm not gonna put them in order, but kind of am. Will Hill, Minka Fitzpatrick. I'm going Brandon Wimbush. That was a point of contention a little bit. I mean, bro, he was the number 2 dual threat quarterback in the country behind Kyler Murray. Went to Notre Dame, beat Michigan, scoring like 5 touchdowns. Crazy career. And then went off into creating Mogul, which is a NIL marketplace. He's doing really well for himself. Hopefully, Brandon, get you on the channel, another Jersey guy. But so that's Will Hill, Minka Fitzpatrick, Brandon Wimbush. I'm putting Cody Simon at my 4. And then, dude, the 5 is where it gets really, really, really tough. I mean, I could go Jonathan Hillman. I could go Savon. I could go, I think it was Keith Lumpkin. I could go my cousin Khalil Wilkes. He went to, Stanford. I think I'm going to go with Khalil. I'm going to put my cousin there, show some old lineman love.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Khalil Wilkes. So that finishes up at Will Hill, Minka Fitzpatrick, Brandon Wimbush, Cody Simon, Khalil Wilkes. That's my top 5 St. Peter's Prep football players of all time. From based off of what I know, and obviously, I'm inviting anyone, St. Peter's Prep alumni or New Jersey high school football fans to confirm, deny, whatever. Let me know what y'all top 5 is. But now CJ, back to you with the tough question.
Yeah, number 1 is me.
Yeah.
I mean, I could have given it to a lot of other people, but I was drafted. I went to a smaller school.
Yeah.
I think I just had the hardest story.
Okay.
I don't think I played the best in the high school.
Okay.
But I think what my last year in high school, I think I played up. I don't think I messed up once.
Yeah.
So I put me at 1, Rocket at 2.
Yeah, Ronnie Hickman, dog.
Kareem at 3.
Kareem Walker, number 1 running back in the country.
The things he did at DePaul were insane.
Disgusting.
Another guy from that class, Mike Dwumfor. I blocked him this year in preseason.
Yep.
Played at Michigan. D lineman, absolute dog. Was my welcome to high school moment, and then happened to be one of my first people I blocked in the NFL.
Yeah.
Which was a crazy experience. And I don't want to the 5th one.
The 5th one's always tough.
The 5th one's always tough because I really do think the kids that graduated this year, like the classes that they're making right now,
nasty.
Could be one
of the greatest ever.
Yeah, realistically. But I could also put Kai Hester up there, which was really one of the ones that started off DePaul.
Yep.
Who I think was one of the ones that got Kareem in. Kai was Kai Hester did the thing at DePaul.
Sense.
I'm gonna put Kai Hester there because he was the one who started DePaul off like with this new generation of like recruiting and athletes.
Yeah.
I feel like DePaul was one of the ones that were later to the sprout.
Yeah.
So Kai Hester, yeah, I think because he also played at Rutgers, so I thought was a
dog,
absolute dog. See, I would put Taekwon at 5.
Yeah.
Like, I would put Taekwon at 5.
It's tough.
He's still got another year too, so like, he's not done with.
You never know.
You never know. No, we're going Kai because I vividly remember Kai like when my like 7th or 6th grade year going because my mom went to DePaul.
Yep.
So I always knew it and going there and I remember watching Kai Hester like just go off and then him ending up going off in college and doing this thing. So yeah, I'll go me, Rocket, Ronnie Hickman, Kareem, Mike Dwumfor, Kai Hester.
There you go.
I was gonna say Taekwon.
You know, I think that's gonna wrap it up for us.
I got. You want to see one thing to wrap everything up? This is. I have this from my my college or my high school team my junior year.
Yeah.
It says the standard and control the controllable.
Yeah.
Do your job. Be as tough as humanly possible. Remain positive no matter what. Sacrifice everything for your team. The more you sweat in peace, the less you bleed in war. That's all you have to do.
That's your background.
That's my back. It's been my background since high school.
You know what I mean? Like straight up something that you carry through life, through football, through whatever. You know what I mean? I mean, I always say that the best teacher for life is football. You know what I mean? Being able to take different dudes, different body types, different backgrounds, and all come together
to work together.
Yeah, for a collective goal.
And to be excellent at that, there's nothing like it.
Thank you to CJ for you know, being the first person on my podcast.
It's a blessing.
You know
Absolute blessing to be here, Ayir.
It was amazing to, you know, listen to you, listen to your experiences, and obviously we'll be continuing to support you through your NFL career. You know, hopefully you get back to the Super Bowl. Hopefully you get a Super Bowl ring. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
there's no doubt in that.
100%. Thank you to you guys, you know, supporting us. Again, the support's been unreal. You know, everyone liking, commenting, you know, subscribing, reaching out. As always, you can follow me on Instagram, Ayir Asante, Twitter, Ayir Asante, add me on Snapchat, Ayir Official. Reach out for any questions, concerns. You know, let me know what you think. Drop your top 5 for sure. That'll be a big thing. You know, let me know who you would want to see on this podcast. You know, who from Jersey or, you know, from anywhere in any walks of life. Just let me know who you guys are interested in seeing. And obviously, you know, we'll put all of CJ's information so you guys can follow him with his journey, his path. But yeah, thank you, and we'll see you guys in the next one.